Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are, whoever you are. Welcome back to another episode of the Oliver Perry Show. Today, again, is another solo episode, and we're going to go over 5 different points that you can take from this episode, or not even that you can take, but that I took from this episode, and hopefully that you got as well. And if not, please let me know on our YouTube. Hop in the comments. Let me know what you discovered that I'm not aware of, and what you learned, maybe even from the stuff that I learned. So let's get into it. So this is on a conversation with Mr. Derrick Carpenter, who was a multifamily investor, and he was a really interesting episode. His episode, he went a lot into detail about how he got to where he is, where he's a millionaire and doing all these great things. But there's 5 pieces, again, as always, that I'm going to give to you that I learned and I took from it. So first thing, be okay with going small into big. Something Derrick did that stands out to me that I don't see too many people doing is he voluntarily started small. He started at a duplex. Then he went a little bit bigger. Then he went a little bit bigger. Then he went a little bit bigger. And then he kept growing in that fashion. So using the ability to take what you have, because he had a bunch of single family properties. He sold all single family properties and then decided to go into duplexes and triplexes, or the multifamily era as it is. What's interesting is he sold all of his single families to do that. That's the part that you have to pay attention to. He literally took everything that he had worked up to at that point, tossed it all. Now, he didn't toss it in the sense that he got rid of it. He did toss in the sense that he sold it to get rid of it, but now he has that funding. Now he has that liquid capital, the dry powder, if you will, to go and do the next thing. And in doing so, he freed himself up to go and make a purchase. Now, he didn't exactly go immediately into it. He said it took him 3 years. He had some other things going on with family and things of that nature, but his patience remained in place and he just kept going towards that goal, and he ended up getting there. So be okay with going small and then going big. The next point, create what you don't see in your area. This applies directly to his conversation about him creating a meetup. He talked to Jake and Gino, are 2 multifamily, larger names in multifamily space. And he talked to one of the guys and they said, hey, you should start a meetup. And he talks about it in the episode, of course, but he says after he started the meetup, he did it for about 5 months. And he got some things from that he would have never gotten if he hadn't started that meetup. So if you're in your area and you're looking for some people to meet and to sit down and talk with about whatever it could be, let's say it's YouTube. You're sitting down talking to them about YouTube. Let's say it's your podcast. You're sitting down talking to them about podcasting. It's artwork, whatever it might be. In this particular case, it's real estate. He sat down and wanted to talk to other people about real estate. And instead of whining that there was no real estate investing meetup there in the area, he created a real estate investing meetup. And that's the same thing that you should be doing. If it's something that you want to do or something that you want to see, create the change you want to see. Next point. Know what you're looking for. Be specific. With all real estate investing, one of the best advice and the best tips that I could give anyone and that I've received is to know what you want to do. Know what numbers, as far as how much you want to spend, know what you're looking for, whether it's 15,000 square feet at 100K, or if it's a 2,000 square foot property that has been over 20 years of age, needs a new roof, what have you. Know all that specifically, because what happens is when you present that to the brokers, when you present that to the real estate agents, when you present that to other real estate investors, it makes them feel as though you know exactly what you're talking about, because you do. You know exactly what you're looking for. So you having the ability to spit that information out quickly and easily and fluidly and clearly lets them know that you're serious about whatever you're doing. All right, next thing. Learn the baseline of what you're looking for. Know the basics. Now, what this means isn't, it's not the same point as the point before, point 3. This is knowing the basics of what you're doing. Something Derrick talked about in the podcast interview was that he actually went and he was doing his own construction work, rehabbing beforehand. So what he did was he bought a property that needed work. It was a duplex that it needed some work. and he did the work for the property. He rehabbed the property himself. Here's where that is an advantage for you as an investor and an owner. You now have the knowledge and understanding of how the things that you did work. So if you're in any industry, again, if it's branding and you want to hire an editor, you have more skills if you know how to edit yourself and then give it to an editor. Now, not saying that you have to do this. This is the reason we have things like GCs, we have VAs and things of that nature, because you have to know when to push that task to the side to allow someone else to do it. But as well, don't be afraid of doing some of that work yourself. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Understand that you having the ability to do these things makes you that much more dangerous on the other end, because now you know exactly what it looks like when the job is done right. You know exactly what it looks like when the job is done wrong, because you learned the lesson from that job. I can tell you what it looks like to take tile out of a bathroom or to chip tile, hammer tile out of a floor, because I've done a flip before. And it sucks, absolutely. But the amount of knowledge that you get from it is bounds in a way more than you're going to get from just giving it to somebody else and hoping and praying they don't screw you by doing something they shouldn't be doing. Next point. Be open to meeting people no matter where they are. And no one may have noticed this and maybe not picked it up on it, but in our conversation with Derrick stated several times the people he's met and where he met them. His realtor, he met her through a reference from his real estate meetup. He didn't meet her at the meetup. He met her through a reference. He also met his banker at CrossFit. This tells me that Derrick is willing and open to talking to people no matter where he is about what he does, because it's the only way that conversation is going to get started. So you have to be open to having that conversation no matter where it's at. Be okay with telling people about who you are, what you do, and how great you are at it. Now, this is not a point for you to be cocky or for you to brag or anything to that effect, but it is for you to make people aware of what you're doing. This is why we do things like go live on social media. This is why we do things like post constantly about one specific topic. Yes, are you multifaceted? Absolutely. But you want to be known for something. So why not be known for something that you want to actually be known for? You don't need to be known for everything. You can still love hockey and talk about real estate. You can still love painting and talk about branding. But go with whatever you know and make sure people know about it. So when you're out in the world and you're talking to people, having a conversation, have that conversation. Hey, I'm a real estate investor. What do you do? This is advantageous because what happens is you never know who you're going to run into. You never know. And that's what's so great about what Derrick said in that particular segment, is that he just met people in the weirdest places. He didn't even seem to, he noticed it, but he didn't even seem to really catch it when he said it. But I'm telling you, from me outside looking in, and for you as well, be okay with having those conversations in all those places. You can meet people anywhere that do anything. You can meet somebody who could very well change your life and never have seen them before, and you just happen to see them at a bouncy house with your kids, and you just happen to start talking. So be okay with having that conversation and being open to talking about the things that you do. All right, now I got to go. I appreciate you guys as always. Please let me know in the comments what you learned from the episode. I look forward to hearing from you. Remember, you're better than you were, but you're not half as good as you're going to be. Make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon. Ali out.